hello. I'm going with the triple hello because it likes to cut off my hello at the beginning. And hello and welcome to the Forgotten Manual. We're going to see if it also cuts me off at 23 seconds like it has been doing these last couple times as well. Today, we're going to talk about something that's out there front and center, but everybody forgets about or you don't even know it even exists. And that is compliance. Compliance is the gem of the operations world. It's fun, it's painful, it's awkward, but we also have it right here, exposed, ready for us to take advantage of. So before we dig directly into, actually we are going to dig directly. We're going to jump into it and then we're going to jump around a little bit. So if you've noticed, you have that little compliance thing and you open it up, brings you into a world of lots of compliance-y things. We're going to go back to all benchmarks because I was digged in there. And look at that. I've got VMware SDDC benchmarks. I can have custom benchmarks, various regulatory ones. Those are always my favorite ones around like HIPAA and PCI and DISA and CIS and stuff like that. And we also have them for many of the other cloud or VMware on cloud platforms. So you might ask, oh, how do I get started with that? In which we will dig into this part of it in due time. So we're going to jump right over into, actually I'm going to take us on that journey there. We're going to click data sources, we're going to click integrations, and then we're going to click repository. That's how you get there, because I mean I have a tab that takes us directly there, but you wouldn't know how to get there if I didn't show you. Well, or you would. So there's two ways you can go about saying, I mean, look at all these integrations. There's all this stuff. Yeah, right? I can go over here and type in compliance. Oh my God, look at that. It brings out my compliance stuff. But I'm going to backspace over that. I'm going to stop. And you see this right over here where it's got breakouts of each thing? I can also just go click compliance and it'll show me those compliance elements right there, front and center. To which I say, actually, that's kind of awesome. That's kind of awesome because I used to just do the filter route and would never even notice that there were these little, I don't know, but I don't want to call them buttons, but whatever these things here. I would never even notice these exist there. So I discovered it while I was preparing to actually show this to you. So that part is really good. All right, so we're going to pop back over and click home. We're going to have our lovely view here, you know, for as long as we have that. And we're going to pop right over into compliance. Compliance is going to take us here into our compliance environment. If I were to go there by hand, another way to do it is from home, optimize compliance. So there's many different ways to go about to get to our compliance area. And we have a lot of different compliance things to choose from, right? So if I were to say have HIPAA compliance standards that I needed to comply with, or I needed to see where I was not in compliance with it, I can go and expand this out here and be like, hey, this host is in violation of this HIPAA thing, or whatever these things happen to be. Now, one question you might be asking, here we'll go back over to the benchmarks. We'll grab like a DISA example out here. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that's, let's grab this from last week. I've got a whole bunch of machines violating DISA. You know, whether DISA, PCI, HIPAA, you might be asking the question, yeah. But what are you actually looking at for that? So one way to get there, because there's a lot of different ways to do it, I'm going to pop back over to our data sources, into our integrations, into our repository. We're going to go click compliance again like we did, you know, seconds ago. We're going to go here is on our compliance, and I'm going to go, all right, I care about HIPAA for the moment. I'm going to click the little three dots there. The kebab, as some people call it, the vertical ellipses. I'm going to click view content, and it's going to show me a whole bunch of stuff, right? One of those things will be symptom definitions, and if I click those, this will actually show me which access control item it is, which HIPAA item each of these things happen to be. So if you're wondering, hey, does this thing cover 164.312.A1? The answer is yeah, for access control to the GUI, you know, blah, blah, blah. We'll go take a look at PCI as an example there as well. Yeah, there's PCI. I'm like, where did it go? We're going to do the same type of approach, and we're going to go pop into the symptoms view there. So in this case, will this thing cover, you know, PCI 112? The answer is no. This thing will provide you visibility into 114 or 10.4 or 224, each of these different elements. This is where it's going to provide you that extra layer of visibility. So if you're responding to some type of PCI audit or something like that, I'm going to give you data right here inside the tool around these things. And you might say, well, why doesn't it tell me, why doesn't it have a field for if my filing cabinets are locked with a separate key? And that's because I can't report on that. I have no visibility into that, and I really shouldn't. But those are the kind of things that show up inside of a PCI framework. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that may not be relevant. So we're only going to show the stuff that is relevant. So we've got a lot of different ways we play around here, right? I pop back over into this compliance view. So if I wanted to be looking at a specific thing, I can go and say, hey, show me the things that are out of compliance of that. But if I wanted to go look at all my regulatory compliancy things, in a different way, right? For that, I can go into, where do I have that? Is it's configure policies, policy definitions. No, that's not what I want. Is it configure alert symptom definitions? That's where I want to go. So inside of here, because this has all of our symptoms, then I can do a search for something like PCI. Will I find it? Will it work? It worked! Awesome, because I'm doing this live. So in this case, I'm looking at all the stuff defined by PCI compliance or ISO compliance or such like that. So it's a way for me to go and look at what does that symptom actually do or mean or whatever. So then if I pop back into, again, just for good measure, just for fun, into our data sources, into our integrations, into my repository, into my compliance, hashtag compliance, let's see, and I were to grab, hey, I want to look at those things again, but I don't care about the symptoms now because I got it. I know what the symptoms are, right? I want to see, are there any views related to these items? So I could say, hey, these are the items for non-compliance. If do I have any alerts? Hey, here are ones that happen to be in violation of these things. Are there any recommendations? So on and so forth. If there were any dashboards, like native out-of-the-box built-in dashboards would have greater than 0, but in this case, it does not. We'll go take a look. Does PCI have any dashboards? It does not. So you'll have the data, but you won't have any out-of-box stock dashboards that you can go and open up. You'll have views, and views certainly drive a lot of those things, but you're not going to have any native compliance dashboards that are focused on that thing. That's where, again, that place, what was it? Optimize, no, it was plan. No, it was optimize compliance. That's where it'll give you all that information, right at your fingertips to find how many things happen to be operating in non-compliance. And I'll say operationally, when I would be doing this as an end user, if there were alerts, symptoms that were popping up and we're never going to do anything about that, or we don't care about that particular thing, or we want to exclude that from the grand picture, at that point you can go and disable that particular symptom or something along those lines. So you have the ability to control your stuff, as well as the ability to create your own custom compliance benchmarks. I mean, that's some nice stuff there. So whether I'm running on-prem, I'm running these workloads over inside of, VMware Cloud and AWS or AVS or something like that. I have the ability to have visibility, and that's pretty sweet. That is one of the things I like about in here is we have our fingertips on things like compliance. Well, I hope you guys liked the video. If you've never seen compliance, you now know more about compliance than you did a few minutes ago. And that's just one of the many things that we can go and play with and help doing the thing, doing the stuff. Well, like the video, subscribe to the video, let me know in the comments below what you thought, and I will catch you guys on the next one. And this is Christopher out.